Recording started.
What's up, everybody? My name is B-Max, aka Brandon. Tonight we're on episode 15 of the Anime Dojo. We're at episode 4 of both the shows now. We're at episode 4 of Dead Mountain Death Play and episode 4 of JJK season 2. Episode 26, season 28, season 2, but episode 4 of the season. I'm alongside Chris this evening. Dion might be joining us, might not be joining us. He will be back next week. I hope y'all been enjoying him, having him around. Chris, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good, old buddy, old pal, friend.
So let's kick this off with the anime charts, because there was a very interesting thing they did. And it was that the number 1 spot is Stray Dogs 5. The number 2 spot stayed with Bleach, which Dion loves. So I'll give Dion that credit. It stays the number 2 spot. Jujutsu Kaisen goes from 1 to 3. Mugen Tensei stays at 4. And My Happy Marriage goes from 3 to 5. And then Zom 100 drops from 5 to 7. I will say this. Oh, and then Spy Class season 2 drops for 13 spots. That's insane. I don't know what happened there. But my question is for you, Chris. What do you think about these changes now? Because now we have a new top dog. It jumped 8 spots from where it originally was. But also, Zom 100 dropped 2, and then My Happy Marriage kind of dropped to itself from where it was last week. What do you think the changes were?
Okay, so I personally have seen a few of these animes. So I personally shout out to Bleach, because I didn't want to just jump into it and not understand anything, but I am literally watching Bleach. Mm-hmm. Episode 1, that's it. So I can see the way that this anime progresses, and I can see why or how it could be at the spot that it's in. So yeah. I have to give Dion his props. Now Jujutsu Kaisen, now all I'm saying is still in the top 3.
It is still in the top 3. That's fair.
Because it was an epic episode. So at least it's still in the top 3. Java's Reincarnation. Now that I did watch from episode 1 to the end of season 1, and then dabble and maybe really just paid attention to the first episode, but haven't watched it since.
Okay.
To me, it's one of those animes that I can only watch. So I watch it all the way through, because it's really a journey. So I can understand why it didn't move nowhere. Like whatever point they are right now, they probably just chilling.
So you're like
a story together.
So you're like Dion in that sense, where you need, in this case, you want to wait till it fully comes out to watch it all the way through, because there's so much story stuff that has to be combed through for each episode.
Well, see, for me, when I think about it, like, not only do I agree with Dion, but the way that I think about it is that it's so many other animes that I'm paying attention to. It's okay for me to sacrifice this one, because I feel like I can watch this one later. Mm-hmm. You know. So let me leave this one alone. Let me fill that gap with something else, and keep watching TV.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with you there. Like, I might wait till My Happy Marriage fully finishes before I start it. I'm probably gonna wait until. Well, I'm probably gonna wait till I'm gonna start season 1 of Jobless. I've never seen Mugen Tensei, so I want to eventually start it and get through that first, maybe after this anime season, and then I'll watch season 2. I don't know much about Stray Dogs. I've seen a few things about it. Don't really know much about Spy Classroom season 2. Dark Gathering I know a little bit about. I know Dark Gathering was pretty decent. Then the last one on the list moved up pretty much too. So.
Well, see, here's the thing though. I'm currently watching Zom 100. That's still on my list.
Same.
And I can see why they might have failed. Like, to me, it was a good episode, but I think the events of the episode might have, like, probably kind of turned people off a little bit.
And this is and the thing about this is the Zom 100 from last week, not the one we just watched. And that's the interesting thing, because the one we just watched got delayed by a day. So, and it was interesting because people were talking about it get delayed because of certain, I think the production was kind of just delayed. They got it out fast enough, but didn't get to Crunchyroll and stuff, that kind of thing. Not licensing, but like processing and getting it through Crunchyroll fast enough. But yeah, I think episode 3 was kind of not great. But I think with episode 4, what we just saw, I think that's going to push that back up in the top 5 easily.
Maybe so. But last but not least, the Masamune-kun's Revenge. Mm-hmm. Now, that I did watch. I remember watching the very first of that anime.
Okay.
And it is pretty interesting. Like, just kind of like the premise of the show is like, it didn't start off as a harem kind of anime, but I've been told that it's kind of developed that way as a long-term thing, so it's kind of interesting. So eventually I probably will get back into it. I know I'm a few seasons behind, but yeah.
Okay.
Kind of surprising to see it come up like that.
We're almost at the halfway point, because most of the shows are going to be at where most shows go 12 episodes maybe. So we're getting close to the halfway point. Episode 5 will be everybody's one more to the halfway point after that. So I think people are finally getting into that rhythm of like what they actually like, what they really are enjoying. You see some main contenders keep staying, and other things will change as we go along. But yeah, I think the list is kind of balancing out finally. It's not kind of just staying one way or the other. I will say this. I think this summer season has been really just tough because there's so much good. It's hard to pick one thing over the other. And I think that's been the big thing. Like a lot of people probably bounced around and watched a little bit of everything. And that's why it's been kind of wonky with fans. But I think that's because there's a lot of good across the board.
I agree.
But let's get into another thing I saw on Twitter. I do apologize for not getting this out to you yet, but it just, as I was getting the stream set up today for the podcast, it popped up this evening that Fortnite is going to add Jujutsu Kaisen characters to Fortnite, like they did with Attack on Titan, like they did with Naruto, like they did with Dragon Ball Z. My first question is, how are they going to make this? How are you going to do it correct? How are you going to do this? Because Jujutsu Kaisen is a very bloody and dark series. And 2, are you going to make them true to their character form? Like, is Gojo going to have like an ultimate power that he can do randomly in Fortnite? Or are you going to have, what's his name with his demon dogs, or the girl with her nails, or the other main character from season 1 that we saw that has the Sukuna finger and a couple Sukuna fingers in them? What do you think that will be? Because they've done the other crossovers, and the other crossovers actually been pretty good.
So, me personally, I've never played Fortnite.
I've only played it like a couple times.
I may be old school compared to the generation that plays it, but however, I feel that certain characters, you already ruin them when you put them into a world that doesn't carry or doesn't have guns.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, it makes no sense to see those characters carry a gun.
No,
So,
it doesn't.
but apparently, if that's what's popular for the kids and that's what they like, I'm like, okay, hey, do what you do.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was an interesting. I thought it was an interesting premise when Anime Corner mentioned it that they were going to be added to Fortnite. I'm just like, well, there is a precedent because you added other animes like Naruto, and you've added Naruto, you added Dragon Ball Z, you've added Attack on Titan, so you have other characters in there from other animes, but the only anime that has the gun kind of aspect to it is Attack on Titan. But Attack on Titan only in certain situations. So it doesn't really feel like there's a reason behind it. We'll see where it goes. I'll see if I'll probably get to see next week when it comes out that see if people are actually interested in it, or is it just kind of going to be one of those things where people might try it out for a day or two because it's their love JJK Kaisen, and then probably stop playing after it come out. But yeah, that was really kind of interesting and something I didn't really expect. But we're getting more of that crossover now with gaming and everything. So there'll be a day, the day comes, the day we get a crossover with like something like I don't think this will ever happen. Call of Duty would be a good example of that, or even something in the realm of like Smash Brothers. You get a character in Smash Bros. One day. That'd be really just kind of interesting to see what they would do with that. But before we get into go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of crossovers, like I don't know about those who have seen the Beast Wars movie. Their little surprise twist movie was with the Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Yeah. So
they're still doing it.
I think the crossover thing is gonna. I think crossovers are going to be more of a thing nowadays than I think there ever will be. I think crossovers are just going to be like we're going to cross over with this franchise. We're going to cross over with this franchise. They've done it multiple times, so it's not like it's something out of the ordinary. But it's not gonna be something that changes either.
I think the funny thing though, when they look at this the G.I. Joe and Transformers movie, to me, even though I would like to see it, to me I can only think it's just gonna be another big budget Transformers movies. And the name of G.I. Joe is just an excuse for them to bring some big name actors back.
Correct. Yeah. I'm not always into the crossover thing anyway. I think it's just too much. When you start adding Cardi B to Call of Duty, that's a little much for me. to be totally honest. But I mean, Snoop was added a couple years ago, and they added Snoop again this year. So,
I mean, but Snoop is cool.
Yeah, Snoop's cool. So
I would like to see somebody, running around, possibly with something in the air, and be doing his thing.
Yeah.
Because that's his brand. That's part of his brand. Now, Cardi B, I'm not saying that's not also part of her brand. It's just the other stuff that Snoop Dogg doesn't produce that you do that kind of stares away from the image of Call of Duty. That is my personal thing.
So the question I have for tonight, which we'll get into. So, like I said, if you go ahead and get up Dead Mountain Death Play episode 4, if you haven't, is talking about manga versus the anime adaptations. And the reason I bring this up is because with JJK Kaisen, this episode we're about to watch tonight, it's a scene is really, really well done in the anime, and you probably know the scene I'm thinking about where Gojo's like just floating in the sky and everything, and he's just standing just above the dude he's fighting. But yet, a lot of people are kind of annoyed because it's not like the manga. where he's kind of more leaned over, laying like in the sky, but kind of like horizontally, like had his hand out and everything. And I always think it's kind of weird. Do you think people who read the manga have too much expectations for an anime, or is it just because the manga can do more things with trawling and making it look cool, even though it's only in black and white, and sometimes the adaptation doesn't portray the manga perfectly?
So I had, from the question that you sent me earlier, like let me answer it from that point of view. Because the way it was pointed to me was like fans versus fans. Now, truth be told, I'm an anime fan. I like to watch anime on TV, animated Japanese TV. I like it. Now, I understand the anticipation of wanting to see a new season of my favorite anime. But I get the satisfaction of also not knowing what's going to happen next. Okay? Now, manga fans, I'm not a manga fan. I don't have the time to sit and read manga like I would like. So to their fans, the only difference between them and us is that they get to see what they read come to life, and possibly even a few things that they did not put in the show, but it's still in the book, so they may know a little bit more about what's going on in a certain situation. However, they're not sitting with the same anticipation that we are, waiting for the anime series with the idea that we don't know what's going to happen next. The manga readers only get that anticipation when they're waiting for the next book, if the manga isn't already completed by the time they start it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you ask me who got it worse, manga fans got it worse.
I would absolutely have to agree, because it's always interesting to me. And I just started reading manga, so like I've read through most of Demon Slayer's manga. I'm through book 12, trying to have to get the other books eventually. I want to read some like JJK Kaisen. I want to read My Academia, a couple other things. But I'm like you, I can't read everything. So I picked Demon Slayer first because I was going through the show already, and I wanted to read to see what they might have changed or had to change. And then you're never going to get a 1-to-1 like adaptation at all. It's almost impossible. But do I think everything's going to be perfect from from a manga to an anime or a light novel? No, they're going to have to change some things around. They made it more colorful. They make it look more nice. They're not going to do the gazines the exact same way. I think the anime fans are going to be more dangerous at that point, or not dangerous. More, I think manga fans are more upbeat. Manga fans are more like hype because they've seen everything already. So like they want to see if it's really as to what they have read, and that's a hard thing to do. I really don't know how many manga fans are, really that hardcore. But if they are, what's the reason why? Why they so hardcore about the about the anime, or about the manga without knowing, but I haven't seen any of the anime, or they don't watch the anime at all. So can you really critique something you haven't watched?
That's a good point.
It's a balancing act. I think that's going to be the downside of it.
It's like you said, that's the downside.
It's just funny. I think it's so funny to me that I think there's that it's a raging debate. It's been a debate for years. What's better, manga or the anime? What's more worth it? I always prefer the visual medium. I always prefer the visual medium of watching it more or less than actually reading it.
And that's my point too. Like if I was going to sink my money into it, and I don't make a whole bunch of money, I'm gonna sink into what I enjoy, which is going to be the animated series.
Correct. Because I know, seeing full like people have a lot of anime collections and everything. It's just like, yeah, I get it. If I had the money, I would absolutely do it. But if not, I'm not gonna be like going out of my way to buy a whole, 60 volumes of an anime or 40 volumes, or in the case of One Piece, almost 113 volumes, and try to read it all or try to get through it. At that point, I'm just going to start watching the anime and just go from there.
But see, but we have to understand, so like because I watch the anime and I don't put my money into the manga, I applaud those and to those who do. Not because they have the money for it. It's because those manga are an investment.
Yes, they are.
Those things are, if series become worth some money later on. Like, so I really do applaud those guys and girls.
Yeah. So if you're doing it for the purpose of like having a collection and you can sell it off someday, or you just want the full collection, absolutely go for it. I don't think that's bad. I think it's kind of admirable at that point. It's just, I think it's a difficult line to walk sometimes.
Yeah.
But let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know what you think on Twitter. Like I said, I want to hear y'all thoughts. Because I thought it was an interesting thing, because I think it's a little bit of a, both sides aren't wrong. Both sides aren't in any way, shape, or wrong. I think it's just kind of like what you like, more or less. But let's get into Dead Mount Death Play episode 4. We just come off one of the probably weirder episodes of the season of the show. Now we're getting into probably the fallout from the episode, in the sense of like, where do we go from here? Why did this happen? And who are these people? So we still have a question and answer, like who's Lemmings? Who are the two guys that we saw in the last episode? Are they cops? Are they working for the government? We don't know. And then what's the ultimate plan of Carice and her team? But we hopefully get those answers. We'll get those answers tonight. Some of them, not all of them. So I will say 3, 2, 1, and then we'll get going. Chris, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, then. In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
And what episode is this?
Episode 4.
Right.
The Mad Dog. So they work for some kind of agency.
Mm-hmm. Same, I think that's the police station.
Is it a police? It might be a police station. And they didn't give like an indication. But yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, fire breather is the corpse god.
I think they're referring to other criminals, but they don't really know what they're up against.
Correct. So he drew his skeleton and then scratching it out. Huh. Man, I still like this song.
If I wasn't listening to it with a musical ear, it would sound like a bunch of yelling.
Yes.
But it's actually kind of nice.
He, wait, he can move his soul into other objects.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. That's kind of cute.
Yeah.
You need fresh human vocal cords, and that's not. And he's like, that's not easy to get. I'm like, no, you would have to do some work.
Or he said, well, he could create them, but he's like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, we can use the diamonds and rocks for mana.
Yeah, he just has no idea how expensive they are.
Yep, that's the other problem. he's like, go take reality, do a reality check real quick.
standard living isn't focused on gemstones, though.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
They had a plan.
I'm putting them in a tight spot.
Yep. Now he showed his true identity. Then I'm being. What are we getting? Good cop, bad cop here? It's kind of weird. You probably shouldn't have said that. Jesus.
Yeah, made you back up. Uh-huh. The police officer.
Yep, for the Shinjuku Intel Community Safety Division. Jeez. Okay.
You know what though? Like all
What?
you want to. You just mad because I got you in the corner and I ain't got to be there to do it.
Yep. He's a kid. Do you think he's a mob enforcer or about? Okay, that's a little much.
Oh man.
Yeah, you forget the girl's kind of crazy. She's loving the.
she, she's available.
She planned the escape.
Ooh. He would freak out if he looked up.
Yep. Tying it back to the beginning.
Man.
Really, really. Okay, that's a.
You leave it to the old lady, bro.
I'm about to say that's all I'm
You,
gonna say.
honestly, bro, like it. If you look that good, go ahead and get an old lady to show. You ain't gonna do no killing, no.
No, might give her a small heart attack, but outside of that,
I mean, but that's what she wants though.
yeah.
They just trying to have a little fun on her old age. Shoot, she know what she wants. If you just don't cross the line.
He first appeared 5 years ago. Murder, protect. Wow. Wait. He came there without a warrant? You're a cop.
Yeah, but they're a establishment.
Yeah, but you want answers about something. She's not going to answer.
Right, but I mean, he could stay there and get information from customers,
Sure, you
from
could.
the regulars. You know what I'm saying? So as long as he got money to spend, well, shoot. And I mean, if he a guy that look like he got unlimited money, I'm gonna leave you with a massive bill.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Underworld. Wait a minute. Those girls aren't real?
Those girls are assassins. They're assassins and they're entertainers.
Oh, no. We're about to have a standoff. Oh, and there's lemmings.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one of the actual criminals are there.
Say that again.
One of the actual criminals are there.
Yeah. He's never had orange juice. I forgot about.
Oh God! If I make him one of my drinks, he'll die.
I love the fact he said at least for now,
Mm-hmm.
which is like there's gonna.
Look how she flipped the script though. They're gonna have to maintain that
Yep.
as long as she bring it up.
Accepting justice. Y'all don't have a war. Yeah, well.
For what reason?
Oh, that's awesome.
No night vision.
Really? Wait. That wasn't the reason why he said that.
Cause it ain't no windows in there, so it's really pitch black.
Lemmings is here. All right. That was actually okay. That was actually pretty good. So they do a thing, which is yeah, that was really good. They do a thing that I like. they tell you, so they answered the first question right off the bat for us. They go, those two guys are cops. They work for a police station. They want some answers. I love this episode for one reason. You get that answer, but also you learn more about the tech dude. And you learn more about what he was originally. And I think that whole sequence is so fun, like so interesting. Let's just break it down. So we start off with them at the police station. The blonde haired dude goes, we know about Firebug, Lemmings, the corpse god, which is the boy, and they don't know anything about the girl yet. They kind of have a inkling about something about that, and they know something about Clarice. They figure out we need to get some answers. So they have a plan prepared. Then we cut to the trio. Just the tech dude was with the corpse god. He's making this shark thing alive using his, like, imbuing it with his soul, which is actually really kind of cool. And when he imbues it with the soul, it can move around, listen to his commands and everything. I love that the girl walks in and she's like, "Oh, cool looking shark," and she just puts it between her chest, and the shark kind of blushes. I'm like, what? What did you think about that first couple, like maybe 5-10 minutes?
It was interesting to see where they were trying to go with it. Because, I mean, I think they were dropping hints that they were, like, corrupt cops. But at the same time, there's, like, they know that they dealing with, like, you know, some real messed up people.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you know, I guess they kind of balance out. So, yeah.
I will say, I think it is kind of hard to believe when they're leading you to believe they're corrupt cops, but they're actually good. So they play the antagonist to our main characters, even though our main characters are supposed to be criminals. So that balance is kind of off at times.
Maybe so, but they don't. They may not know the level of the, you know, like, I don't. Okay, say for instance, our protagonist doesn't exactly know that everything he's doing is certainly criminal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he doesn't know the consequences of this world. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's still learning about the world.
So therefore, running into law enforcement, he may be familiar with, but to go through the criminal justice system is something he's not ready for. Well, I would say he's not ready for, but we're not ready for.
Yeah, correct. Then he says something in the little dialogue section. He goes, "I can get more mana. I can use y'all rocks, or what y'all perceive as rocks, like the diamond, sapphire, and stuff." And the guy goes, "Yeah, you might want to check that. You might not be able to find what you're looking for. Well, if you do find it, it's gonna be very expensive." And then the next scene they cut to, he's in a jewelry store looking at a price of like a diamond is like 426,000 yen. He's like, "Well, that didn't really help." He's like, "Well, I can't really use that then." But then as they're coming out of the jewelry store, they get accosted by the other cop. And the other cop's basically just like, "I want the drone." So he tries to grab it. The drone can't leave, so he knows the person on the other side of the drone, which is the tech guy. And then the tech guy tries to divert things, but he can't get diverted. Good back and forth conversation. I will say I thought this conversation was kind of long. I don't know what you think, because I thought it was kind of long and didn't really have a point at first until it got to more about him, the tech dude.
Well, again, like, at this point, I still think that they're still trying to set it up. Like, you have to remember, like, this is still you can say.
Yes.
And you can almost at this very moment you can still say it's a you can say that has a where the main character is still OP, but doesn't necessarily know how OP he really is. So
then
that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I think that is a big point of this, is that we still doesn't understand the whole world yet. So he's still trying to figure things out. But he's becoming more human because in that whole conversation, the one part of that conversation, he backs up the tech dude saying, he's my friend. Why are you after him? Not knowing his past. But I love that they're giving him that character because they're making him feel like they're making him feel like he cares about the people around him. And that's one of the things, he want to make this peace.
I agree with that. But yeah, because he's falling in love with the culture.
Yes,
you know
he is
what I'm saying? It's like,
he's falling in love with the culture.
It's like, because again, it's still following that standard, you could say, trope, like he's a being from another world, but yet he's in another world, in the world that it just so happens it's a word that we're already familiar with. And he's enjoying these new things because he's never enjoyed that.
Correct. So then the cop is gonna start trying to get to the little kids, about to arrest them. The zombie girl out of nowhere just goes, you know what? I'm gonna. She's like, the zombie girl. He thought the zombie girl had run. Nope, she's behind him. Just drop kicks him, and then they run off. I'm like, okay, all right then. And the guy goes, not the girl. No girl's that strong where she could just drop kick me like that. Something's weird. So he runs out the alley. He looks up. He doesn't see them in the sky because I think he looks runs out there. I thought he didn't know where to go. So they're in the sky with like this skeleton hand and holding them. And then we have the conversation between the tech dude and the corpse guy saying, "Hey," the tech dude says, "Thank you for backing me up there, but you don't know my past, and I don't know why you backed me up." And he's like, "You're a friend of mine. I'm gonna back you up no matter what." And the guy goes, giving what you've done, I don't care. You're still a friend. That scene was so touching because it's two things. One, it's the same place where the girl was about to jump off and see what it was like to jump off. And two, it mimics the thing of like they're becoming more of a family. And I think that's really interesting. I don't know what you think about that, because I think that was the one thing I took away. They're becoming more of a family and they care more.
Okay, so looking at it from the anime point of view, yes. It looks like, it's like he's giving him all the credit he was earned. Like, dude, you have never done me wrong. From everything, I don't care about your past. From everything I've seen so far, you've done good by me.
Yep.
So, yeah. However, looking at it from a realistic point of view, like I understand where you're coming from, but that just means I can't share nothing with you. You will never know anything else other than my name. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I will do my due diligence to keep anything else about me from you. You see what I'm saying?
But it's also kind of interesting, speaking to that, because he even says, "There's no secret. I have no secrets. I've told you everything." And I think the tech guy goes, "Well," I think he said it, the first sign of trouble, I would have left. He basically says, the first sign of trouble, I would have been gone. I would have hop, skipped, and left Japan. Like literally just up and left the group because I was that worried. But now I trust you. So I agree with you. I think it is kind of tough when you think about it because, like, yeah, for a new person, the only thing I would have said is my name and probably what I do for a living. That's it. And I would have said nothing else because you don't want that era of you don't want to give too much information out. I think that's the thing he's gonna be learning throughout the rest of the episodes.
Right.
But then we cut back to the police station. The black-haired guy was like, "Hey, he asked one of the police ladies. I think she's like one of the head, like the sergeant or something. And she goes, "Can you check out this foot? Is this foot meaning anything?" And it's weird because the way they shot this, he lifts up the shirt. You see the footprint, and he's just like he's ripped. It's like, okay, fair enough. And then you hear a noise in the background. It sounds like a nurse or something goes, "He needs to get healed up and stuff. So take that shirt off." And like, who's talking? We just see this random old lady come out, and it's like, oh, she's like his abs. Okay, fair enough. Just kind of like, what? So she's pulling out his shirt while she's still talking to the other cop lady. He's just kind of like, this scene, this is weird. But we've already had a couple weird scenes in this season, so far in the season. So it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but I mean, but again, it's just one of these animes now that's doing just enough fan service just to say, hey, you know, like, hey, because I mean, one of the prior episodes was you know, when they was back in base.
Yeah. Where she's checking her shirt last episode, where she checked her shirt prior to that in the first first episode. So
like it was a tasteful scene, a tasteful fan service scene, but even they went and looked at and broke the third wall, kind of, sort of.
Yeah,
and was like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yep. Why are we doing this again? Yep. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's funny. The last episode we watched, they did the break. He broke the fourth wall. Goes, do girls do this all the time? This episode, they didn't break the fourth wall, but you could tell the characters were like, the cop guy was like, why is she fawning over me? What's going on here? And like, I think even the cop girl was like, what's going on? Like, this is weird. It's like she was like even understanding. But they look at the picture of the other footprint in the dirt, and it matches the girl's foot. They say it matches the girl's footprint. Then we see this really weird scene where you see Lemmings in the background. I think there's a couple people in the police station, and he's looking at the picture of the foot in the dirt. And then he just leaves. Nobody else saw him. Nobody else had a reason to see him. So it's interesting that Lemmings is piecing things together like the cops are, and he's figured out stuff. And they don't know that Lemmings has figured out things, which is really kind of interesting because it's like, so he's on the same trail as y'all, and y'all don't know it.
But the question is, why?
Why is he on that trail? What's the purpose?
Because right now he just, you know, he may be a criminal, but we don't know anything else about him.
Correct. Then we cut back to Clarice's establishment, bar, club, whatever you want to call it. And the blonde-haired guy is there. He's talking to some bunny ladies in bunny outfits, and then he's just having the time of his life. But as he's walking in, he wants to talk to Clarice, and he tries to get Clarice to answer the question. Clarice doesn't really care. She's just kind of not asking anything. But this is the first time we fully see it. Outside of the black-haired dude earlier, this is the second time we're seeing they say, I'm a cop. So if you don't want to get in trouble, you're going to answer my questions. Basically playing good cop, bad cop. With basically when the two kids were with the black-haired dude, he tried the same thing where he's trying to be nice, but also, I'm a cop, you don't want to get involved. And I love Clarice. Clarice is kind of just deadpan, doesn't care. She just kind of like, I'm not going to answer anything, but you can be here. Go right ahead. And so he sits at the table with these two girls, drinking and everything, having the time of his life. And then one of Clarice's associates was like, "You shouldn't be here. I think this is bad." And she's like, "You know what? He's not gonna get many answers. If he does, fine. But I'm not worried about it." I love that they make Clarice so nonchalant because she's like, "What is he gonna find out? Absolutely nothing." And I love the way they did that scene because it just feels like she's at the same level he is. Like, I'm a boss. I can do whatever I want. You're not gonna get answers, but good luck trying. You can try to get answers, but good luck. What do you think about that whole that whole dichotomy?
How can I put it? Like, it's like basically at this point you can start to see where the criminalism is coming out of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like at the same time they ask a fair question, like, why are kids in this establishment?
Oh yeah, he does
it.
Like, he does ask that. I forgot about that. He asked about the two kids.
Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So those are two fair questions. Like,
but she basically just blew him off. Like, she didn't care. She was like, "That's my business."
Mm-hmm. But what she says is usually what's supposed to. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
It's what's supposed to put people on alarm.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And she wasn't. She was just kind of like calm, cool, collected.
But at the same time, you're a young girl in this type of establishment, so nobody cares.
Correct. So we do see the two kids, the girl that's a zombie and the corpse god guy, come in the bar. The blonde-haired dude says, "Wait, you're kids. What are you doing in a place like this? This is more adult. What the world? What are y'all getting to drink?" And the girl goes, "Milk. That must be some expensive milk," the blonde-haired guy says. And he's like, "You know what? Join us. Come join me." And they're kind of confused. They're both kind of confused. But the reason he asked to join them, because the black-haired guy had texted him saying, "The girl in the jacket and the guy are the people we need to talk to." So it's like they're putting two and two together. And now they have the chance to ask somebody who's been at these scenes questions. So then the girl stands on a table with one leg and says something. I forget. She don't really say anything of note, but we see him look at this orange juice and just kind of like start tearing up because he's never had orange juice. And they're like, "Why is he crying?" And they're like, "I don't know. He's just crying." And he just talks about like, "This orange juice is so good and everything." It was kind of a touching scene because he like you say, he's still learning about our world. He's never been on our world, so he's like, "I've never had this before. It tastes amazing." But to them, it's just like, it's orange juice. It's an everyday thing. But then we get the weirdest revelation. So then Tech Dude sees that the black-haired guy with some other people are coming into the building, coming to where they are. On his other monitor, you see somebody holding onto a ledge in a black hoodie. We assume that's Lemmings. So now we're about to have all the players involved in one place. And then we get the black-haired dude in the building, and he kind of says, and the guys at the door are like, should we stop him? His friend's here, so don't let him in. He's like, his friend's here, let him in. Don't worry about it. What do you think about that? Because now we know kind of like, as we saw with the tech dude's kind of worried like, uh-oh, things are popping off. They need to get out of there fast. But he couldn't get there in time.
I mean, it was nothing that he could do because, I mean, that's also the bad part about being the guy in the chair.
Yes, it is the bad part, being the oversight.
Like you can either see everything go really good or everything go really bad, really
Really
quick.
bad. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's the messed up part with him. You know, and the girl in the situation, I mean, she's just reacting. You know what I mean?
Yep. She was just reactive. We're almost to the end of this
Mm-hmm.
recap. So get up, Jujutsu Kaisen, episode 28, season 2. But we end this episode off with something kind of interesting. So the two cops go to the kids, go, we need to ask you some questions. So I don't know if you want to don't obstruct justice. So answer our questions, everything's gonna be fine. And they're kind of worried. So like, why are they asking us about anything? We don't have. They're trying to play it off because even the girl goes, "That's the guy that hit on me," and she's like, and the guy's like, "I didn't hit on you. I had nothing of the sort." So they're trying to play along with the kids as well. Then we see the lights go out, and then the girl and the corpse god have to try to get out. So he's using his eye power to get out. And as he's using his eye power, he sees the night vision, and he's like, he tells her, "Hold my hand," and she's like, "Wow, we're moving fast." Well, she thinks they're getting together. I don't know what she was thinking. She's kind of out of it there.
I think she just being a tease.
But yeah, I think she was being a tease. She was just trying to be a tease and tease him. But I'm like, okay, fine. But then Clarice, in no time at all, she's like, I need to get some light in here. So she lights a match, about to drop this match in this like shot glass. And the weird thing about that was they show the blonde dude and they show a close up on his face, and his eyes get wider and wider and wider. And he's just like, and you see as she's about to drop the match into the shot glass, it gets brighter and brighter every time his eyes get wider. And they're like, and you don't know what he's looking at, you don't know what's going on, but then you finally get it. He sees Lemmings. And the black haired dude goes, why is he here? And Lemmings jumps off the top of the chandelier to the table, jumps on the table, and knocks these balls in the air. And when he knocks these balls in the air, that's where the episode ends. I thought that way of revealing him was amazing. Because you just give us the thing of like, he's looking at something. We can't see what it is. We don't know what it is. We finally see what it is. And yet it was simple. The only thing I would say to make it better, the only way I think you make it better is when you had the first reaction from the corpse god point of view. I think you should have had like him see like a small part of Lemmings, but he didn't see him at first. I think it was the only thing that would have made it better because then you go, what's the extra person here? All right then. What do you think about the ending? Because that ending was amazing.
Yeah, that ending was awesome. Like, what a way to introduce a new character. Like, we don't know who this character is. We don't know what he does. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just know that he's quote-unquote a criminal.
Yes. So these cops are dealing with a criminal organization now. Couple different criminals now overall.
Exactly.
I will say this. I think this show does a very good job of keeping you engaged. But I think the other thing it does very well is the facial expressions and the animations of the characters. Because you have characters larger than life, the two cops, the girl that's a zombie, the corpse god, the tech dude, you have Clarice. You have all these characters that have really big personalities, and yet they meld together so well. I think that's the one big thing I took away from the show. So I'm going to ask you, Chris, what would you give this episode of Dead Mount Death Plate episode 4?
I'm going to give this episode, sir, an 8.6.
Okay. Explain.
I mean, this was a really nicely thought out piece of story, but I mean, you gave us minimal action the whole scene.
Yes, you did. You did give us minimal action.
Like, and I mean, granted, you even get the part of the story that you gave us was good, but it's also what I hope is probably the slowest part of this whole show. Is introducing what's looking like to be the antagonist.
Yeah.
But at the same time, introducing a new protagonist and antagonist we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, you start us off boring, and you end us with a mystery. 8.6.
Do you think we start with a fight next episode? In the sense that
I hope so.
we get the corpse god, the girl, and the cops working together to stop lemmings? Or is it going to just be a three-way fight of the two cops trying to stop the other two groups?
Now, see, I have not seen the other episodes yet.
Neither have I. I think this is the point I stopped. Basically, I watched the first four and I stopped. I didn't watch anymore.
Right.
So everything else is new.
But after this point, I'm probably going to go ahead and finish watching it because I've been sitting around too long waiting to figure out what's going to happen next.
Yeah, that is also true.
But at the same time, I do feel like what's going to happen next. I feel like the dude's going to step in, probably have a little bit more dialogue, and he might even escape with the guys. He probably help him get out of there.
Okay. I would have to give this episode. Ooh, actually, I have to agree with you. 8.6. I agree with you. 8.6. I think everything you said is pretty much spot on. Even though there wasn't a lot of action, I think it works its way. It worked well, and I think the story ends up building it more and more. And like I'm like you, I want to know more now. Like you left us on a cliffhanger 2 or 3 times, and this cliffhanger is still going. It's still going to be going. So I think that's going to be a big thing from that. Takeaway from that is like, what's next? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? But yeah, I'm looking forward to episode 5. Seeing what episode 5 brings us. See what episodes after that bring us. But I think episode 5 we're going to start off with something, either a fight or somebody tries to escape, or Lemmings helps the corpse god and the girl escape, or the tech dude kind of figures out what's going on. Yeah, there's a lot there. But let's get into Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 28. After the roller coaster episode from last week, it gets even more weird. I've never been so like hyped for an episode after watching one last week. I think I watched this one on Thursday, and I was just like, man, they went somewhere I didn't expect. All right. And now I have called 2 things fully now. Like these 2 things I called from last week have fully happened. But let's get into yes. But let's get into it. I will say 3, 2, 1, and then we'll get going. Chris, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. And I feel kind of bad. They're pretty much stopping where they pretty much re-show us this. I'm like, I don't want to see it again.
Instant replay.
Yeah, literally an instant replay. Well, I get the fight in the building I wanted.
Oh, just called it. Remember when I said that?
Yep.
Randy?
What's that?
I had said when I had said I had made a reference to Demon Slayer. I said Demon Slayer had to fight through that.
Yep.
He
And
ended
they're,
up having to
and
fight all through it.
they're gonna have a fight all through it. But you know something? Like you said, I think they could have made this into like an hour-long movie, and it would get the same effect. Also, I think the only reason they didn't is it would be non-canon, which they do that with their movies sometimes. They make them non-canon to the actual anime,
Right.
which I think that's the only downside. Like you can still make something canon. Like I think you can make parts of this canon pretty easily, of like why they changed, what happened.
Interesting question. Because that would mean that the Dragon Ball Z movies had a reboot.
Yeah. I love the fact they're just walking. Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
So when he keeps
I
them
mean,
all.
that's just somewhere.
Like a carbon footprint.
Yep.
That's that's basically what he's saying.
Hmm. That happened so sudden.
Yeah, it was. Man, the colors.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he does, but he has like a cursed weapon that just really just ripped that in half. Oh, that's creepy.
That's just some nightmares.
Yes. Ew. In one emotion, he did that. Nope. Jeez. Here's a here's the thing about that. He just did that with like no speed, like just like one fell swoop. Put that sword away, pull the other one out, and just slash him like 3 times.
But the fact that all that happened within an instant, though.
Yes, it was super fast. Megapy. You forget your own son's name? Really? Come on now.
Let's not care all that much.
Jeez. I thought this was kind of disrespectful. I'm like, really? Literally just popped her on a table. So y'all just nuts. Even he says even when he says you like how it's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. You little loony.
I only see you in work or in hell. That's kind of rough. Oh, hey, look, a ghost. I'm alive and kicking. He's high. Uh, uh,
Heck yeah.
I mean, yeah, he just pretty much came back to life using reversed curse energy technique.
I mean, he just beat this.
Yep.
Yes, he's on the high.
And he's so fast now.
Yes, he think he mean business this time, huh? Something wrong.
Something's off. Yeah, you see the man laying in the middle of the sky, just like not giving care in the world.
Mm-mm.
Nope. He doing Matrix level like dodging. Come on now.
Right. He just chilling. They really haven't given us these beautiful scenes that make me think it's a movie.
Yes, they have. Jeez, this scene. He's
It
like,
looks like he compressed a whole nuclear explosion and
into
aimed
just,
it right at.
he's like, any last words? Nope. Wait. Hold on. hit a bank. So wait, Gojo's part of the
That's
Zenitone?
probably good. Now I wonder if that's oh boy.
And that's where it ends, ladies and gentlemen. I'm okay, so I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. There is one scene that we should see because it has context to this. So we skip to 2051. I'll wait till Chris gets there. You there, Chris?
I'm still here. What'd you say?
Skip to
I had
2050.
to turn my TV back on.
Oh, skip to 2051.
2051.
And then pop to have it.
It's almost there. I have to play.
Okay.
Okay, 2051.
All right. So I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, and we'll watch this because this has some context to this what we just saw. So 3, 2,
All right.
1, let's go. Because we're about to get to the little ending cutscene, which I usually don't watch. But this one I had to watch because I was wondering. I was confused. I was just literally confused.
Okay.
I was like, "What? What happened?" So it's coming up now. So we see Gojo, or we see Sukuro look at the little thing that he had, and it calls it Mother. That's creepy.
that the bug that we see him with in season 1?
So that's the dude's bug. That's the dude's bug. We just all get killed.
Yeah, but doesn't he have a bug with him in season 1?
He does. He does have a bug with him in season 1. So that's he gets that from this.
Yeah. Alive.
All right. So another jam-packed episode. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
I have never seen 2 episodes back to back just go, oh, we're really about to like mess you up right now. We pulled your heartstrings in the last episode, well, we're just gonna make you think. And the reason I had y'all watch that ending sequence is because it gives you the thing that I called out from last week: light and dark. Siguri is going to more light side. He's like, we don't need to be doing this. We don't need to destroy these people. And Gojo is like, I don't care anymore. I am so powerful. I'm on the highs of highs. They won't feel the pain. I have never seen a show where it really just makes you wonder why these characters do what they do. So we'll do this. I'm not gonna do a full play because there's too much in this. But I'll give you the three big things from this. First, at the beginning where we see Siguri and the guy talking in the temple area, and he mentions that he has reverse. He can use the heavenly divine thing where he makes his body stronger, as strong as a Juju sorcerer. And Siguri already kind of knew that, so they have a fight. That fight was amazing. That fight was insane. That fight was not the only fight we got in this episode. I'll get to the second one. But then he just gets cut down by the dude. Then we get to the middle of the episode. In the middle of the episode, we get this we get this thing of like, so this guy knows his son. He doesn't care about his son at all. He doesn't care about his family. He don't care about anything. He just wants to sell off the girl, get the money, and live happily ever after. But he's done his job, so he's done. He goes to the people that want this girl. They pretty much say, we just want to worship her, which is already creepy enough. They just want to worship her because she was supposed to be this great thing. And she didn't get to do it. All right, fair enough. Creepy, weird cult thing, cool. that checks off that box. So they're outside talking with his guy that gives him the job and everything. He's like, we can go have food somewhere at a nice restaurant if you want to take me. And he's like, no, unless we're working together or I see you in hell. So basically he's saying, I don't want to see you again. But then he's walking back and he sees Gojo and he's wondering how Gojo is still alive. And he's like, Gojo's on some kind of high. And then this fight scene goes so hard because Gojo's so powerful at this point where he's just like, I can just monologue and I can stop your stuff. I don't care anymore. Then the last part of this episode was the thing that really got me. Gojo figures out he can combine his techniques, his amplification and the reverse technique to make purple. Hollow purple. And the shot they give us of he doing the move, the guy's looking at him straight in the face and seeing him doing this. And he said, at the beginning of this fight, he says something's off. He says again here, he says something's off. Purple happens, and he's literally left with a giant hole in his body. And not no normal hole. Looks like a crater. Looks like something squished his body into itself. Looks like that somebody took a giant bowling ball and just like threw it at his stomach. And they show it in a way where it's each hole coming back to him and showing what happened. And you see the guy kind of touch his side and he's like, my body's missing. I'm dead. And then the last thing we see of him, Gojo goes, you have any last words? He says no. But then he thinks. Kind of rewinds himself. He's like, wait, I might have something to say. You'll see my son in 2 or 3 years. He's going to be sold off to the Zen clan. Once that happens, you can do whatever you want with him. And then the episode ends. I don't know what to say, but Mappa, you do some amazing things. You do some things I don't know how to explain. So that's my Cliff Notes version of this. Like I said before last week, I'll say again, if we went through this full thing normally, it would take us a while. It would take us a good hour, which wouldn't have been a bad thing. I would absolutely have done that. But Chris, with the little synopsis I just gave, what do you think of this episode? What was the biggest takeaway for you?
I'm good to you. This show kept you on your toes the entire show. From an instant replay from the beginning, and then you see the beautiful fight scene in the tempo. Yeah, man, dude gets his butt whooped. Man, dude, okay. It was a beautiful scene, but you got your butt whooped. Moving on, dude getting paid. I ain't mad at you, bro. You just beat Gojo and this dude. And you killed the girl that didn't her body.
Yep.
You did your job. Like, if you fulfilled your contract, there's nothing more to be said. And you did what we thought you wasn't going to do. So, yeah, here's a bonus. Yeah. I would, too. I mean, shoot, he a good businessman. You know what I'm saying?
He is a very good businessman. Very shrewd businessman.
Okay. But you get back outside, oops. Ghost has come back to hunt you. He not dead. Oop, now you dead. Oops. That fight scene lasted less than a whole minute, bro. It had to. Like, it happened too quick.
I think it was basically like a minute and a half from when Gojo started talking to the point where he basically unleashes hollow purple. it's like a minute to a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, and it's like it feels fast, but they take their time. They ain't rushing this. It just feels fast the way they're moving throughout it. My word. Continue, by the way. I just had to get that in there.
No, you good. You good, man. It's true, man. I'm not trying to sound like I'm preaching, but man, it's just a good show.
And then the only reason I think I would have wished they probably drew out a little bit longer is just to see how far he could have gotten. But at that point, he even says something's off. When he says something's off the first time, you know he knows something's gone wrong. But when he says it at the end, before he's about to die, you really know he's out of his league. And that's scary. Know where Gojo is now.
Yeah, because his gut gave him fair warning way beforehand. He had every opportunity to run and get out of there. But no, you thought you could win. Pride, man. Pride.
I would have literally took the money. I would have literally took the money and got it Japan and left. Like literally just like I'm not sticking around not knowing what's gonna happen next.
I would have been the first one gone.
And then the thing is, Gojo is still merciful. He says, "Do you have any last words?" So he's not gonna like outright hurt the dude. He's already did the damage he needed to do. But then on the flip side,
I don't really think you can call that mercy. Bro.
I don't call it mercy, but I call it.
You can call it.
I don't call it mercy, but I call it respect. I call it like your last will and testament. That's what he gave him. His last will and testament. Do you have anything last to say before you pass away? And that's
okay.
And that's a very good way of giving a character his like closure, and he basically gave that character closure. Because at the first,
I can agree with that.
He didn't like his son. Now he told Gojo, "You'll see my son. You'll see my son eventually. Do whatever you want to him." Basically telling Gojo protect him. So you cared. You did care. Not the greatest way of caring, but you did care.
Right.
Then on top of that, the only reason I had people watch the last ending scene of that because it connects to this episode. You see Gojo. You see Suguri grit the little thing from the dude that died. He absorbed him finally, so now he has him as his thing. You see him later in season 1, I think, like you said, Chris. But then you see him walk to the place with all these Star Vessel religious cult is. And then he walks through, he opens the door. These people are just clapping and standing there. Gojo walks through with the girl. And Gojo's like, "Be late." Like, bro, I had a fight. I got beat up. What do you think I've been? He didn't say that, but I would probably said that.
Well, he was more thinking, dude. He told me you were dead.
Yeah. And then he goes, "What happened? What happened to you?" Basically, he didn't say what happened to you, but he says, "What happened?" Because you can see his eyes change, his facial expression changed. And then they do the biggest thing they can. They go, red light, white light on Siri, red light on Gojo holding the girl. And then he just goes, "We need to get going. We're gonna get out of here." And then Gojo's like, "You know what? Can we just destroy them all? I just want to destroy them all. Can I do that?" And Siguri's like, "No, you shouldn't. That's not what we can't hurt humans." And you can tell Gojo's like upset, but he's not mad, but he's annoyed.
Because that's the easiest way to be over and done with.
And I'm going to ask you about this line, because this line does happen in the middle of the episode where he goes, I'm not upset. I'm not holding a grudge. I'm not even mad at anybody. I'm not angry about you dying. I'm just living in the moment right now in this beautiful heaven and earth. I don't know if that sounds like a guy who's on a high or that just sounds like a guy that's gone to the enlightenment stage of like, I don't care anymore. I'm pretty much at the best I can ever be.
I mean, but everything's right. Okay, think about this for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You get stabbed literally from your throat, through your chest,
So you're
all
stuck.
the way down and out to your waist or thigh.
Yeah.
You are clearly going to die. Right, but you somehow know whatever techniques and stuff and you bring yourself back to life. You literally bring yourself back from something like that. Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That means no matter how bad you get messed up, you can bring yourself back.
Every single time.
So yes, I have the right to be as high as I want to be. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you're right.
who gonna stop it? Yes, yeah. But I mean, he didn't understand that yet.
No, he didn't. Before we end this podcast, I have a question for you, Chris. What do you give
Okay.
this? What do you give this episode of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 28, Hidden Inventory Part 4?
Yeah, I'm a little torn apart. The highest I would give it is a 9.1, but the lowest I would give it is an 8.9.
Oh, wow.
But to make it official, I'm going to go ahead and say that 8.9.
Okay, explain.
Did the girl really have to die?
Yeah, I'm like Dion now with that. I feel like she didn't have to die for all this. Like we were so excited to see her pass away. She was gonna get simulated, and now it's just like that was all for naught. All for absolute.
Could he had couldn't he had delivered her alive to the people? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the things I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But I guess that's just the way they want to show the show.
Yeah, that's true. I have to give it 8.9 as well. I agree with you. Did she have to die for this? No, there could have been other ways to do it. But now I'm intrigued. What are you gonna do with episode 5? We have 2 episodes left of this arc. What do you do with episode 5? We still have to meet the guy that turns into the 9 to 5 job guy. We have to still meet the doctor from episode 1. We still have to meet the girl that's the pink-haired girl, the black-haired, the purple-haired girl. We have to meet all those characters again after this point. How's that actually going to go? How are you going to actually go with the principal or his teacher that turns into the principal? Like, there's 2 episodes left in this arc, and then we have another arc entirely. You have a lot of explaining to do, and very little time to do it. Like, I don't know how you can explain this in 2 episodes. It's not possible. But Jujutsu Kaisen so far has done a lot. Yeah, they did. They did do it. They did it in 1 episode. They explained everything and just dumped it all on 1 episode. If they do it here, fine, cool, you did it. But I'm just intrigued. I've never been more intrigued to watch more Jujutsu Kaisen I think in a long time. I just started the stories, ladies and gentlemen. I have watched season 1 through with Chris. We watched the movie together. I've never been hyped for a show more than Demon Slayer, I think. And now you got me hype. That is episode
All right
15.
then.
That is episode 15 of the Anime Dojo. I do thank you for listening. Hope you did enjoy. We'll be back next week for more Dead Not Death Play episode 5 and episode 29 of Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. I implore you, if you haven't watched Jujutsu Kaisen yet, go out of your way to watch it. It is worth it. It is ultimately worth it because it keeps you on your toes. I would say start with season 1, watch the movie, and then get through season 2. If you want to skip the movie, go right ahead, but the movie's fun. But season 2 has done such a good job. I think there's nothing less. There's not much more I could say. But Chris, I do thank you for joining me. And I hope to hear from you all next time. See you.
Later, dude.